Hey travelers, welcome back to the channel. In this episode of Traveler's Corner, I sit down with the amazing Paul and Carole from Paul and Carole Love to Travel. Now, let's learn all about them. Paul and Carole, thank you so much for joining me here on Traveler's Corner.
Hi there.
Hello, you're very welcome.
Please let everyone know about yourselves and your channel.
So, we're Paul and Carole Love to Travel. We have a website and a YouTube channel which concentrates mainly on cruising because that's our first love. However, it does have, we've got a motorhome and we got other travel information on the destination guides. We've been married for 20 years. In fact, when we met you, Nick, wasn't it we celebrated our anniversary on the Sky Princess?
Yes, you did.
And we're from Gloucester in England, originally from the Forest of Dean area. Have you got anything to add, Paul?
Nothing at all. I just want the viewers to know this is my life where I just sit there and she talks all the time. Because everybody says I talk too much, so I'm going to try and sort of offset the balance.
There you are. Yeah, so that's us in a nutshell, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, late 20s, early 30s, we are. Is there, how good's your filters on this?
Yeah, exactly. No, the other thing to add as well is we've been able to travel more extensively because last year I retired as a nurse. Paul's got your own business and selling cars, so we've got freedom and we've been saving for many years to be able to do it, so we're in quite a nice place now where we can sort of get traveling whenever we want, which is lovely.
Wonderful. So let's dive into the hard-hitting questions here.
Okay.
Why do you travel?
I just love new places, trying different food, meeting new people.
I like exploring and finding cultures and meeting people that I'm fascinated by meeting someone that just doesn't have the same lifestyle as me. And it may be simple, like when we were talking on the ship at the Sky Princess, even though you're in Canada and we're in the UK, there's still lots of differences, isn't there? So I just find it fascinating meeting people, and we've met some brilliant people, haven't we? Throughout all our travels, I think so. For me, it's exploring and experiencing the culture that's very different from ours. Paul's food.
It's just all food. And we are very different, Nick, because you can grow a beard.
Yes. I don't think that's a Canadian thing.
No, I think that's just every other man on the planet apart from me.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
So I just travel to see men's beards, really.
No,
just to see how good they are.
Oh, amazing. So, what is your favorite way to travel and why?
Personally, myself, I love cruising out of a home port. Southampton's our nearest port, which is about an hour and a half away. So it means that when the embarkation process is good, which it has been recently, we can leave our house and 2 hours later be on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And we like that. I mean, we couldn't even get to a lot of airports in 2 hours to fly anywhere. So I do. The last cruise we done, ironically, we did fly, but cruising out of Southampton is probably my favourite.
Yeah, I think it's just convenient, and I think we were spoilt post-pandemic as well because we had a lot of cruises out of the UK, which we were very thankful for when it all started up. And we cruised a lot, and it was just so convenient, wasn't it? Yeah. And the last couple of trips we've had, as Paul quite rightly said, we've been to the airports, and airports at the moment aren't good, are they? No. They're struggling through, for trying to get back on their feet. So you understand the pressures and that they're under, but it just adds that other layer of stress, doesn't it? That you actually, when you do just can drive to a port, the only downside for driving from the UK to cruising from the UK is our weather. I mean, frequently we've just had a heat wave, we're still going through it. But lots of the times our weather's rubbish, and getting to the Mediterranean, you have to go through the Bay of Biscay, which is always can be a little bit woo, can it?
Yes.
But then on the flip side of that, we're very lucky that the UK, we're surrounded by some really fascinating places, and getting to Europe is easy, isn't it? You know, up to Norway, Iceland, the Baltics. So, we're very lucky that way. I'm going to throw in here as well because we do love cruising, but another form of travel that we love is our motorhome. And Paul uses it a lot at the moment in between cruises for his motorsport. But when we do have time, which we haven't because we have gone a bit crazy cruising, just getting in our motorhome, and we're very lucky because we live on the edge of the Forest of Dean in Gloucestershire in England, and it's beautiful. And you don't realise that when you're growing up. And now it's just lovely. We could just go 10 miles down the road, go to a lovely campsite and go walking, and I love that as well.
So why don't you do it more then?
Because you're always away racing in the camper. We bought a new mattress for our camper. I haven't slept on it yet because Paul keeps going away racing.
Well, it's very comfortable.
Well, there we go. A little weekend getaway, maybe,
Yes, exactly. But but cruising is our first love, isn't it? No doubt about that.
Yeah, cruising's the best because you can see so many things in a short amount of time, and you experience so much culture in that short little period. So, yeah.
And it's great, isn't it? Because you get a little taster, and then you decide, you know what? Actually, do I want to go back there and spend? Because we enjoy doing a variety of things like land-based holidays. And you think, well, actually, no. Never want to go there again. Or you think, do you know what, I really like that taster was just enough to think, well, let's go back and spend that time there. So that's what another reason why cruising is amazing, isn't it?
Exactly. So what has been your favorite country you have visited and why?
Thailand, I think. There's lots of lovely places in Europe, but there's something about Thailand that keeps drawing us back, isn't there?
Yeah, we've been about 15 times there, haven't we?
Prior to the pre-COVID, we were going every year, sometimes twice a year.
Once we went 3 times a year.
We did. We went a bit mad.
But that was my 50th birthday as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We tried it. But again, fantastic culture. Food is amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the best beaches in the world. Sensibly priced, even though it's a bit more expensive than it used to be back in the day. But that's everywhere now.
Do you know the best times we've had? It sounds really silly, but sat on a plastic little stool on just a pavement, with the locals cooking all your curries up, the sun's going down, and you're just chatting to random people that come and sit at your table. And for me, just sat there, it's just magical, isn't it? I think. Yeah. And we've done a lot of that in Thailand. We're very good at getting lost when we travel, aren't we? And we just sort of tend to wander and end up in these bizarre places, but it ends up being a real fun adventure. Yeah. And as long as we always make sure we've got a card that's got our hotel on, so you know where you've got to get back to so you can get a taxi or whatever, then I think that's
It's not always been a fun adventure, because we actually got lost one night and we got chased by a pack of dogs.
Yeah, we did. And
there was about 6 dogs.
Yeah, that wasn't so good. But mostly it works.
But other than that...
Yes. Other than being nearly eaten to death, that was,
Yeah.
But, So, Thailand has got a special place in our hearts, hasn't it, really?
Yes, definitely.
Wow. Yeah, Asia is on my bucket list. I haven't reached there yet, but hopefully, fingers crossed, one day I'll be able to
definitely recommend it.
Yeah. All right. So, with all your travel behind you, do you have one favorite place you have visited that's been your favorite?
We got invited to an event just for us to do a blog about it, and it meant that we got to spend only about a day and a half, but it was in Rome, and we'd never been before, and I have to say it was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, we really liked Rome, didn't we?
Definitely want to go back. It's just got everything from obviously all the architecture. There's absolute madness trying to cross a road. Culture into culture coming out of your ears, but history. And again, you could still go to places where you can get, a meal that's reasonably priced or a drink that's reasonably priced, or you can go and get a meal that costs arm and a leg. Yeah. So it's got a bit of everything, and it's I think you could probably go. You could spend 10 weekends there, and you still wouldn't scratch the surface really. So that was what was that 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah.
And it really I didn't know what to expect. Obviously I knew about the architecture and stuff, but But
it seemed a city that was easy to navigate.
Yeah.
Some cities you go to, don't you? And you, we're not one for taking lots of public transport. We like to walk, or we often do like a hop on, hop off bus. Which we find is the best way to explore. But we found that on foot, we've seen so much in a short space of time, didn't we? We really liked Rome. The other city that we touched on an excursion actually from Cadiz was Seville. And we went both. As soon as we were walking around there, we thought, oh my God, this city is somewhere that it just had this great vibe, very pavement culture, and that would be also Antwerp. Thinking about all these places coming.
How long
now, isn't it?
How long have you got?
Yeah. Because Antwerp was another one that, you know, when you just get somewhere and you think, do you know what, this feels really comfortable, it feels really safe, and it feels, I know you've got to have your wits about you wherever you go, but it just felt, it just felt good. No, that's it.
Bratislava, we like that, didn't we?
We did like Bratislava. There's some good dumplings there, didn't we?
Did. Oh my God. All food.
Yeah, all food. Yeah.
So, with, again, all the travel behind you, is there one thing you have done that you've loved and want to do it again?
I know one thing we did, which Carole never wants to do again, which we went, is it parasailing?
Paragliding.
Where you're on the parachute.
Okay.
But we did it as a tandem.
But I was low down. Paul was
Carole
up
was
there.
about there. Carole was about, oh, this is a stand up. When she was about there, past the top of her head. And then he slowed down so as you go into the water. But Carole was completely under the water.
So Paul's head was above the water, but I was being dragged under the water. I thought I was going to drown.
And
Paul thought it was highly amusing.
Despite the amount of money I gave the boat driver, he didn't keep her under the water long enough.
No, that was yes, never going to repeat that.
Where was that? I can't remember where that was.
It was Greece somewhere, wasn't it?
Was it?
I can't remember. But yeah, but one thing that we would see, one thing I have to do all the time is sunsets. I'm a bit of a sunset fanatic. So as long as I'm sat with a cocktail in a nice, whether it be at the aft of the ship or it be on a nice beach bar, you get a bit frustrated, don't you, with me sometimes when we cruise, because there might be some entertainment. I said, well, I want to just go and sit. Because I think sometimes simple things, you don't have to have really complicated and expensive things to enjoy yourself. And people get wrapped up in that they have to do this and they have to do that. But sometimes just sitting there and watching the sun go down and just feeling very thankful that's my real happy place.
Because you need to make sure you don't miss that, because it's not like there's going to be another one tomorrow, is there?
No.
You never know.
You never know.
Never know.
You never know. So yeah. So
one day I'll be right, won't I?
Well, don't say that. But yeah. So sometimes simple things are the best. Yeah.
I do agree with you on that one, especially with, like we've talked about, our Sky Princess cruise to Norway. Those sunsets or the sunsets were amazing at midnight.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, exactly. Yeah. And we had fabulous weather, didn't we? So you know, the clouds and stuff. Because we've been to Norway. That's our 5th time, wasn't it? Where it can be very drab and. But yeah, that was lovely. That was very special. So, but yeah, it's just I don't know, just something simple that you can do anywhere in the world. Even if we sit in the motorhome, isn't it? Just to sit and watch the sun go down is just one of my favourite things.
Lovely. So we've touched on this a little bit already, but when you travel, do you eat local?
Yes.
We do.
We always try to just see where all the locals are eating and get into the same restaurant, don't we, really? Yeah. And we love trying different things that we've never tried before. Yeah, because why not? If you don't like it, doesn't matter, does it? I think as long as you're not paying an arm and a leg for something, isn't it? That's
and as long as it's not an arm and a leg.
Very true. Very true.
Oh yeah. But yeah, we do. It took us a long time actually when we first went to Thailand, because we had friends saying, make sure you go to the street hawkers, make sure you eat locally. And we were not new to traveling. We traveled a lot in Europe, but we'd never done Asia, and we were quite wary, weren't we, about some of the dishes and stuff and the spice, even though we do like spicy. But actually, it was absolutely fantastic. And then when you do try all the local stuff that you wouldn't normally pick off a menu, then you think, oh my God, why didn't I try this years ago?
my brother came to Thailand with us.
Yeah.
And every day I'd say, "Oh, try this." Oh no, I'm gonna have pork chop and chips. And the next day, try this. So I'm gonna have
Pizza.
I'm gonna have a pizza. And this went on for like 2.5 weeks. And on the last night, one of my favourite curries is a massaman curry, which is like potato, peanut, meat of your choice, and it's absolutely delicious. And on the last night, my brother tried this massaman curry, and when he finished it, he looked at me and said, "Oh my god, that was awesome, wasn't it?" I wanted to punch him because we were going home in about 2 hours. I said, "You just wasted about 18 days eating pizzas and pork chop and chips and garlic."
He was worried, wasn't he?
Yeah, because he said, "Oh, well, if you don't." It was about 50p for a curry.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, it doesn't matter, does it? Have your pork chop and chips after you've tried the curry if you don't like it. But I think the secret to Thailand, which Carole touched upon earlier, is when you first go, you go to what we would call like the shiny restaurants, all the ones that are like the best decorated,
westernized,
and lit up,
they?
and they're very westernized. But the trouble is, the food's very westernized, and even though you could have a Thai green curry, it wouldn't be like a Thai green curry where, like Carole said, you walk into some places, or some places are actually on the pavement, on the street, and it'd be little plastic tables and chairs, and it'd be one person cooking, one burner, one wok. And when you order stuff, they don't sort of do the starters and main course thing. They do starters and main courses, but they cook it in the way that's most convenient to them. So all three of us could order a starter and a main course each, but you might get your starter and main course first, and then
I might get my main, and then you might get your main, and you might get the starter,
because they just work out, because they've only got one form of cooking, so they do it in what's the most convenient way to them. But when there's about 10 of you and 8 people have had and you still haven't had anything, and they've had both courses, it does get a little frustrating, but then that's the best food.
Exactly. So has there been something that you've eaten that has been the most amazing thing that you've had, and you've dreamt about it and want to have it again?
I know yours.
Mine, it's back to my massaman curry. There's the capital of Koh Samui is called Naton, and there's a little restaurant that's called Will Wait, and we've been going there for years, and the waitress in there is as miserable a person you will ever meet in your life. But
hi, if you're watching.
But the massaman curry is the best, and I've had a lot of massaman curries. It's the best I've ever had. It's absolutely spectacular. And my second favourite is tempura prawn or shrimp.
Well, I'd say tempura prawn, because you could eat them 3 times a day.
I do eat them 3 times a day when I'm in Thailand. But
going back to Naton, that's the thing about Thailand. There's on Koh Samui, there's a lot of sort of areas that are very commercialised, but Naton is very Thai. And we found a fabulous property there, which we could rent a room from. Was it from Simon Yanya, called Bansai Jan, and it's literally right out the way. But it's this beautiful boutique little hotel. You watch the guys come in and collecting the coconuts with the monkeys. It's that remote. But it's absolutely a stunning place, and they're very helpful with taking you wherever you want to go, going into Nathon. And we've had the best food. They used to have a little market there, and actually going somewhere that's not on the normal sort of tourist tracks.
It's not touristy at all.
Nice. As we've had such special memories there, haven't we?
And just to elaborate on what Carole said, because that was quite a strange thing. There's where this hotel is all in coconut groves, and they've got a thing called Monkey University. And I'm not even making this up now. You'll probably edit this out thinking he's mad. But they teach monkeys how to pick coconuts, but how to know which coconuts to pick. So they know which coconut is ready to be picked, and which coconut. And then they're basically taught. They run up the coconut tree. They go around the coconuts, decide which ones are ready to come down, and then they twist them off
and drop them. But the Monkey University is apparently in Surat Thani, isn't it? Which is on the mainland, but not far from Koh Samui. So so stuff like that's random, isn't it? And how brilliant's that? We got woken up, Yanya come and said, wake up, the monkeys are here. And we just sat there, didn't we? It was about 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was just, you sat there thinking, do you know what? Does it get better than this? Really? I know does that sound weird? Watching monkeys pick coconuts?
I think that's one of the most random things I've ever seen, is the farmer the coconut farmer. He's on a moped, and he's driving along on his moped, and sat on the seat in front of him is his monkey, and he's drinking a carton of juice.
It's Nesquik.
The monkey is drinking with a straw. And he's like, he's holding onto the handlebars of the bike with one hand, and the other hand he's drinking his drink. And you're like, did I just see that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
so you're it pours mad on prawns and tempura prawns, aren't you?
Yes, I do like a prawn.
Amazing. So, is there a dream location that you are dying to hit up?
South Pacific,
Yes.
New Zealand for me, Australia. That part of the world we've not touched.
Mm-hmm.
And that's we've just explained a big chunk actually, haven't we? Because that's like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, that's. I think as well. We've done some of Asia, but we haven't done Vietnam. Vietnam's definitely on our to-do list as well.
Yeah, we've recently done our first river cruise.
Okay.
And we did that with TUI, and we went in Europe from Budapest. It was fantastic. Paul didn't ever think he would want to do a river cruise because of just being bored in the evenings, but you're so busy exploring, and they do river cruises down the Mekong. So you go Cambodia and Vietnam, and that is actually on our...
Yeah,
we've got so much on our bucket list, haven't we, that we want to do.
It's a big bucket.
It is a big bucket. But South Pacific, I'd love to go to Bora Bora, Tahiti, and explore that part of the world. And we are starting to put together some exciting trips for, well, hopefully one at the end of this year if it all comes together, and for next year. So maybe we'll start ticking those things off. So
Yeah, those places you just mentioned, they're on my bucket list too. So hopefully I can start checking those off and seeing these amazing places. So, is there one place that you've loved so much that you would love to go back to?
Well, obviously we've said Thailand, haven't we?
We do love Greece as well,
Yeah,
don't
we
we?
do.
Used to spend, before we started going further afield, we used to go. It was a funny sort of thing that when we went into the Euro, England didn't go into the Euro, but the rest of Europe did.
Mm-hmm.
Almost overnight, going to places like Greece became quite expensive.
Yeah.
And so we sort of stopped going, whereas it was always like really, really good value for money. But we used to go regularly, and obviously the weather's always spectacular. Love the food, obviously.
We used to be able to get a week in Greece for £250 a person, and that's including flights, hotel. Yeah. And that was we're getting older now, aren't we? So people are gone. That was quite a few years ago, but we used to go there a lot. We do all the islands, Corfu, Crete, Rhodes, Kos. And then it was the millennium, wasn't it, when everything seemed to get quite expensive. We didn't have the budget then that we've got now, because we obviously had more time to save and stuff now. But Greece, all that Adriatic actually, Croatia, Croatia's absolutely stunning. It is, isn't it? That's all that area. Slovenia, Montenegro. The only one place that we went to on that sort of stretch, which we thought, oh, do we want to go back there, was Albania. But then we only went to Durs, and people said, well, Durs shouldn't be the gateway to Albania, because Albania is supposed to be beautiful. But it was very bizarre, wasn't it?
It was a bit bizarre.
But the Adriatic, Greece. Hopefully we're going to get there next year. That's a plan, isn't it?
There's always a plan.
There's always a plan.
I have a plan too to get over there, but again, that's on the bucket list, and that bucket list is getting bigger by the day.
Food in Greece. I don't know what they do with their meat, but they marinate it, or they do something. And I love lamb chops, and I've had the best lamb chops in Greece. Mm-hmm. Crispy, succulent, tasty.
You see the cooking process, and you think, well, that's nothing special. You know, that's not rocket science. So it must be the preparation. It must be what they do marinate it first.
That is. Whenever we go to Greece, first thing we do is find some lamb chops.
I'm getting hungry now. Lamb's one of my favorite dishes. So
I love it.
Amazing. So, again, with all the travel and experience behind you, is there 1 or 2 tips you can give to new travelers or experienced travelers out there that you've learned along the way?
I think the irony is, going back to Thailand, Carol tried to get me to go to Thailand for years and years and years. I never wanted to go. Just didn't fancy it at all. But when you're trying, so my tip is, you'll get people who, when they're trying something new, or they might not really fancy it, but their partner will, you'll get some people who will go and almost like go out of their way not to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But I think whenever you're traveling, if you travel with a completely open mind, try and embrace the culture. If after all that you don't like it, then you give it a fair chance.
Well,
but it's
fine,
always travel with an open mind. Yeah. Don't judge other cultures. Have an open mind and just let yourself enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think sometimes you can overplan. So you think, I'm here for 2 weeks and I want to do this every day. You want to do something. Don't do that. Have a skeleton of a plan. So because otherwise you might not achieve anything, because then it'd be like, well, just lie on the beach again today. But don't overplan and just go with the flow. I think that's the biggest thing you can say, isn't it? And try things you've never tried before, because if you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. But don't say, oh, I wish I don't want to it sounds a bit dramatic, but in my life thinking, oh, I wish I'd done. So I think I'm going to try whatever I can. And if I don't like it, you just don't do it again, isn't it?
But I read some quote from somebody, and I'm going to just blatantly steal it. And it's like, when you're on your deathbed, nobody ever says, I wish I'd have travelled less.
Yes, that's very true.
You can use that. Copyright Paul Morgan.
Copyright Paul.
If anybody says that now, they got to give me a pound.
Deal. I'm exactly with you. Go with an open mind and try and experience as much as you can in the places that you're visiting. And like you said, you can plan as much as you want, but be open to trying new things and different things.
Well, and speak to people. People feel, we've met so many fabulous people when we've travelled, but just because you're sat at a bar or a restaurant, you just turn your head to the next person, just say hello. And someone might say hello, and then you'll get a vibe whether they want to have a chat or not. And sometimes we go out and we don't want to chat to anyone, do we? So we don't look at anyone.
Especially each other.
No. But we've had some of the best conversations and met the best people by just striking a polite conversation. In fact, we just come off the Celebrity Beyond, and there's a martini bar on there. And I think we loved it because of all the juggling and the tricks and the bartenders on there. But what we loved most was it was after COVID, because we haven't been able to sit at a bar or socialise, you just pull up a stool and whoever sat next to you, it didn't matter who it was, everyone just turned it up, oh, hello, and you start chatting. And we got chatting to these guys, a couple, wasn't it, from right at the south of there was a lot of Americans on, a lot of Canadians, and it was really lovely because we don't see, we see Europeans and a lot of UK people, but not rare. It's rare that we, with Canada and USA. And they said to us, we just got chatting and we were laughing away because they said, oh, we watched Love Actually. Can you say words? So they're saying, but can you say bottle? It's like bottle, because they were in hysterics, and we just for about half an hour.
We sound nothing like anybody off Love Actually, but obviously maybe to them.
But we just had the best time, didn't we? And it was just random conversations you have, and you think, you know what, that was a pretty special night, wasn't it? So never be frightened to say hello, exactly. unless they look really weird and scary. Yes.
There you go.
So be safe, but don't be silly, but be sociable.
Exactly. Well, Paul and Carole, thank you so much for joining me here on Traveler's Corner. Please let everyone know where they can find you.
Oh, look.
She didn't even bother to look at me because she knew she'd be wasting her time. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter,
TikTok.
But yeah, if you search Paul and Carole Love to Travel, then all our social media comes up.
All them things there.
And we've got a website which has got we're quite proud of our website, and we've got lots of information on there. So just it'd be great if you could just take a look.
Yeah.
And also our YouTube channel. That's our, I think. I mean, I love all what we do, but I think what has been the most exciting thing for us, and what we were scared of doing, was doing exactly this, is sitting in front of the camera, and doing that has just opened up the world. Well, we would have met you, Nick, would we?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
so there's a downside to everything.
No, but it
I'm
isn't
still
that.
angry because you wouldn't duet the Backstreet Boys for me.
I'm sorry. The next time we shall 100%. I am down. We will do that.
Yeah. So yes. So please do check out our YouTube channel too.
Weren't they amazing? I love them to pieces. Now, head down below and hit up all their social media. Check them out. Check their videos. They are the sweetest people on this planet. And you know what, guys? I'm going to see y'all next time here on Nick Tours.